Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer talks with Cevin Jones, an Idaho custom feeder who is chair of the U.S. Meat Export Federation. He talks about how the Federation increases the value and profitability of U.S. beef, pork, and lamb by putting U.S. meat on the world's table. Next up, Greg Akagi brings us the Kansas soybean update. Then Duane Toews talks with Tom Brink with the Red Angus Association of America about what genomics are doing for the seed stock and commercial producer. Find out what's going on around the state with the Kansas Farm Bureau update. And to wrap up, it's Plain Talk with Kyle and Duane. That's what's coming up on Farm Factor this morning. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on three main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun. Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to Western Kansas.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Welcome back to Farm Factor. Kyle Bauer is with Cevin Jones, who explains how the U.S. Meat Export Federation increases producer profits.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I get to visit with Cevin Jones. He's a rancher, feeder from Idaho that's on the U.S. Meat Export Federation. But Cevin, tell me about how someone comes to be on that. It's not something you just do overnight.
Well, we have lots of representation from clear across the country from different checkoff programs, so beef, pork, corn, soybean checkoffs, and then we also have private companies that are members. But you've got lots of opportunity to be involved in USMEF, from the executive committee to the different committees there that support it, and you can work your way up through the leadership. It's definitely possible. So,
well, let's talk about how you worked your way up. It's a good example of how grassroots the group is.
Yeah, so I started out our state beef checkoff program, and was chairman there, and then got involved at the national level in the Federation of State Beef Councils, and then from there I decided to come over to I was involved with USMEF during that time, but then decided I'd like to come over and be the beef rep for USMEF. So it's been a great program.
Then let's talk about USMEF, who all the members are and how you get your funding.
So we have 9 different sectors, and we're all grassroots. We've got checkoff, like I said, the checkoff programs from beef, pork, and lamb that we're promoting. Then we leverage those dollars with corn and soybean checkoff dollars, and then we leverage those dollars with government funding and then additional private funding for promotions.
Well, obviously, a lot of people have been convinced that it's a good investment, but it's been a long, hard battle. You have offices all over the world.
Yeah, so we have 19 offices overseas throughout the world, a lot of them in Asia. That's where a lot of our export markets are focused. But then we have offices in, the EU. We have an office. We have just recently opened an office in Africa. We have offices in South America, Central America, and even the Caribbean.
We've had a lot of good news when it comes to exports, and like I said, it's taken a long time to get there, but there's always something that can come up later that has to be addressed on a day-to-day basis.
It's always a moving target. But we're adding about $320 a head to every beef animal. We're adding about $50 a head to pork. Contributing about 39 cents a bushel on corn and around 85 cents a bushel on soybeans. So, we've got a really good story to tell. The worldwide market is growing in middle class, and we expect that exports will continue to boom.
So is the best opportunity in areas that haven't yet found meat, or is it in areas that have meat as daily in their diet?
So it's both. So as the middle class starts to rise in the worldwide in countries, so we're looking at developing countries, getting in there on the ground floor, developing those markets, sending offals and lower valued cuts overseas, but also like well-established markets like Japan. That's our number one market in the world, and we still continue to see growth going into that country.
We're visiting with Cevin Jones. He's chairman of the U.S. Meat Export Federation. This is Kyle Bauer reporting from San Antonio.
Thanks, Kyle. After the break, it's this week's Kansas soybean update. Stay with us.
Kansas Farm Bureau has served farm families and rural Kansas for more than 100 years, and we're pleased to offer new healthcare coverage choices for Kansans in 2020 through Kansas Farm Bureau health plans. No matter what stage of life you're in, we'll have options that fit your lifestyle. Plus, our network of providers is one of the largest available throughout the state of Kansas and beyond. For more information, including the different plans available, or to get a quote, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
At Farm Credit, we partner with America's farmers who work hard each and every day to grow the food that we all enjoy. It's not an easy task, but it's an important one. Farm Credit is proud to work with farmers and ranchers, lending support in rural America.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Jeremy Olson is joining us. He is an agronomist from Everest, Kansas, and was part of the American Soybean Association's Corteva Young Leader Program. Jeremy, what got you interested in wanting to participate in the Young Leader Program?
I had a couple friends go through the program a few years ago, and they had great experience with it, and just the ability to network with people that do very similar things and that are committed to the soybean industry. And, really, yeah, like I said, it's all about a networking team approach and a learning ability.
Well, besides networking, which of course is extremely important, what were some of the highlights in participating in the program?
I would say one of the major highlights was we went through a communicating with others 2-hour-long session in Indianapolis in December, and that was a really good session for, communication between people that may not have the same, values or core values, and to try to have conversations with consumers, not necessarily just farmer to farmer, but communicating with the consumer.
And as you look back, is there a biggest thing or a big thing that you've taken away from being a part of this program?
The biggest thing for me is to go along with those communication lines is being the voice for not necessarily just the soybean industry, but in agriculture in general for my age group, which is around, 30, being that voice and the communication part of it is going to be extremely important.
And will this lead to maybe a leadership role in the Kansas Soybean Commission or Soybean Association, or maybe even higher than that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it definitely has committed me to, being a part of the Kansas Soybean and, to try to help in any way, along with the farmers that I am in contact with every day.
Jeremy, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Greg.
That is Jeremy Olson, an agronomist from Everest, Kansas. He was a part of the American Soybean Association's Corteva Young Leader Program, and he joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
After the break, Duane visits with Tom Brink of the Red Angus Association of America, talking about genomics.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer and work with you.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Let's go to Duane Toews now, who is with Tom Brink from the Red Angus Association of America.
Duane Toews joining him once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and an opportunity to catch up with Tom Brink, CEO of Red Angus Association of America. Tom, we met up recently and you had a chance to talk to some producers about genomics and how that maybe has changed the industry a little bit. It might be an oversimplification, but it's kind of like EPDs on speed, if you will. I mean, we just have a new opportunity to look at the predictability of cattle a lot earlier.
That's exactly right, Duane, and what genomics are doing for the industry, both on the seed stock and commercial side, is a very, very good thing. I mean, it's real progress because it makes EPDs more accurate. It's like you can test young animals, and it's like they have progeny already in terms of the extra accuracy that is provided to those EPDs. It makes them better predictions. And on the commercial side, what we're starting to see there is people are using genomic profiling to help select their replacement heifers. And so that genomic profiling is really a very good thing in terms of helping them identify the animals that have weaker genetics that they really don't want to use as a replacement female.
We've talked about it before, but historically we've looked at those yearling bulls that the guys go and purchase in a seed stock sale, and knowing the EPDs and some predictability about how they were going to produce was important. But in the past, we really didn't know till we had a couple of calf crops on the ground ultimately.
That is exactly right, and I think more and more people are understanding that if you buy a young bull, your next herd sire, if he's genomically tested and genomically enhanced in terms of those EPD values, you're getting a bull that essentially is almost like had one calf crop in terms of the predictability of that animal. And depending on the trait, it can add between 5 and 20 progeny equivalents is what we call it, which again is if he has had that many progeny and that data has been recorded in the association database. So you're really buying just a more accurate set of EPDs, genetic predictions, when you buy a bull that has been DNA tested and his EPDs are genomically enhanced.
Let's go back to the commercial cattleman point that you'd referenced. Obviously, we've looked at the genetic side from the sire side, but that's only half of the equation. That and more is coming from the cow side. Here's an opportunity for commercial producers to do a better job of selecting females.
We have seen a lot of data, a lot of DNA data on commercial herds, Duane, and what we find is even in the good herds, you will be surprised at how there's still some low-end genetics that have kind of lurked through the system year after year because we only appraise cattle visually in the past, and that's how we've selected these replacement heifers. But if you use the DNA along with your eye in selecting females, you can just do a much better job in eliminating the bottom-end heifers that DNA-wise, genetically, you don't want in the herd. And so it's an additional tool that can be extremely helpful to making genetic progress because, like you said, the female is still 50% of that resulting calf.
The presentation that we worked through that you were a presenter in, I kind of likened it to narrowing up the standard deviations and taking that big broad bell curve and squeezing it down to a more targeted approach, which each individual operation will have to decide which points within that genetic selection are important to them.
They really do, and we always encourage breeders, commercial breeders, seed stock breeders to have goals, establish targets, and then stick to those over time. Because if you don't have a roadmap, and you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there. And so establish those goals, and then you can use the tools, EPDs, DNA, to really fine-tune the selection and make sure that you're putting the right replacement heifers back into the herd on that side of it. But also as you're selecting bulls that help move you closer to your goals and with each calf crop. And we live in an era where the tools are tremendous that we have at our fingertips, and it's not that complicated. We have to learn a little bit, but the main thing is just use those tools and really leverage them in your operation. It'll make you more profitable.
Our thanks to Tom Brink with Red Angus Association joining us on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after the break for the Kansas Farm Bureau update.
Kansas Farm Bureau has served farm families in rural Kansas for more than 100 years. We're pleased to offer new healthcare coverage choices for Kansans in 2020 through Kansas Farm Bureau health plans. No matter what stage of life you're in, we'll have options that fit your lifestyle. Plus, our network of providers is one of the largest available throughout the state of Kansas and beyond. For more information, including the different plans available, or to get a quote, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Farm Bureau Update.
I'm Britton Rucker, and this is Ag AM in Kansas. I am at the 2020 Young Farmers and Ranchers Conference, and with me now I have John Buttenhoff. And John, what was your role at this conference?
This year, I'm just a participant. I decided to sign up for the YFNR Achievement Award, and so it's nice. I helped with the committee 2 years ago, and this year don't really have anything but participating in that contest. So.
Now, give us some background of your ag experience.
I have been farming for 10 years with my dad, and my wife helps, and so I've lived all my life in Lincoln County, and we grew up on the family farm that I now farm on.
And John, why are things like the Young Farmers and Ranchers Conference important to really the industry?
I think the conference is really good to get people involved. You meet new people, you learn about an organization that can help. At lunch today we talked about policy. I was never into policy, but it opens your eyes as a new beginning farmer, somebody coming back to the farm. It opens your eyes to what an organization can do and what other people that are your age doing similar things. So it brings people from all across the state together. So
yeah, exactly, and really making connections and really opening doors to conversations that one might not even be involved in.
Yes, or conversations that you're having that you don't know the answers to, and somebody else's, you feel lost, but there's other people that are having those same questions or those same issues. So you feel united by a group of people.
Exactly.
So.
Well, a big thank you to John Buttenhoff for being on the program. I'm Britton Rucker, and this is Ag AM in Kansas.
Stay with us. We'll be back right after this break with Plain Talk.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
At Farm Credit, we partner with America's farmers who work hard each and every day to grow the food that we all enjoy. It's not an easy task, but it's an important one. Farm Credit is proud to work with farmers and ranchers, lending support in rural America.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
Welcome back. Now let's join Kyle Bauer and Duane Toews for Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk. With a guy who always says there's nothing that keeps you honest more than a few witnesses, Duane Toews. Hard to embellish when you know the old boy sitting there actually saw the whole thing.
There's people watching. And now it's a little different because everybody's got a camera in their hip pocket.
I used to tell my kids anytime they brought out the camera, go home. Well, now they'd be home all the time.
They're never going out. There's always a camera.
There's always
around.
a camera.
Yeah, I'm kind of thankful, I think, that there weren't phones with cameras when I was a teenager. I think
I'm thankful there wasn't when you were out, too. I don't want pictures of that.
Oh, who wants to see that mess?
In all seriousness, I think we run around with a bunch of people that are halfway trustworthy. So that if we're in a compromising situation, except for our wives maybe, that if we're in a compromising situation, they don't necessarily take a picture and send it out to the whole world. I think there's people out there that look to do that on their friends, and I think our friends would not do that.
I would say,
they would only send it to you.
Typically, the groups we travel in understand a time and a place, and
I don't even tag people on my Facebook posts. I mean, it's like, if
my wife or our kids once in a while, if it's a picture of something that we were all together.
And every once in a while, I'll have a picture with somebody else in it, and they'll ask to be tagged. That's fine. Then I also have ones that people say, well, I tried to post this on your page, and it wouldn't take. And it's like, no, you're exactly right. Nothing going on my page but me. Yeah, I went to a seminar about 10 years ago, maybe longer than that, on Facebook when it was brand new. And they said, think about your Facebook page as like publishing your own newspaper. And you decide what you're going to publish in your paper, and other people decide if they want to read your paper.
Right.
And so everybody has a different paper, and just like that, not everybody that reads the paper wants to send a letter to the editor. They just want to read the paper.
Yeah.
And so it's fine that people, and my kids call them stalkers, and it's like, you're not a stalker.
You're just
reading my newspaper. I'm publishing it for you to read. I'm glad you're reading it.
The one that's annoying to me is when someone will tag like 40 people in a post, and then all 40 of those people are getting all of the traffic that's seeing that person's newspaper. Now I get bothered by people reading his paper.
You realize that there's three little dots up there. You just click on that and you hide post.
You get that and get rid of that.
Yeah. You don't have to get rid of it. You just hide it so you don't. So, yeah. It's hard being you, I know, but.
Technology and me, we're like this. So close, but yet so far away. Your fact or fiction question of the day, Kyle Bauer. Mushrooms in some places contain a compound called luciferase, and it makes them glow in the dark.
I have heard of that.
Fact or fiction?
I have heard of glow-in-the-dark fungi.
Yeah?
And I've heard of glow-in-the-dark fungi, too.
Well, it depends on what you had to drink that night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, luciferase. Look that up. I know I'm not going to spell it because I'd have to look too hard at that book to come up with it.
Yeah, I thought it was like Lucifer the devil before you said it. I thought it turned you into like a devil or something.
The devil shroom.
But it's fluorescent.
Yeah, they glow much like a lightning bug.
Aren't they talking about genetically modifying Christmas trees so they glowed? Putting in the gene, taking that gene and putting it in a Christmas tree. My question to you, Duane, would you buy that tree?
Well, I don't know. If you want a tree glowing green, normally everybody puts different colored
I didn't
lights.
say it glow green.
Well, what color would it glow?
Mine would glow like bright purple.
Well, how can you do that with a green tree? You can't make a green tree glow purple.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.